we can see the tire pressures of the car, and we could see it starting to go down at Brunchen area, which is still sort of, yeah, 5-6 kilometers from home. My name is David Pittard. I'm 32 years old, originally from Letchworth, England, and now living in the Eifel in Germany. So yeah, my epic racing story is my journey to my first 24-hour win, I would say. Going into sort of December was when I first had my first meeting with Klaus Abelen of the Frikadelli racing team. I contacted him through friends of friends to say that I was available for the Nürburgring 24 hours next year. I know that this is also a race that's always very close to him. That he always fields a competitive Pro-Am car or sometimes even pro cars in the past as well. And yeah, I offered my services and he said, yeah, I'm looking to put together a pro car. And yeah, we had the discussion about how it might or might not work. Another thing that us drivers have to balance is the calendar and the clashes as well. There's only 52 race weekends in a year, and it always happens that some championships are on the same weekend. I'd already signed a contract with Heart of Racing for the 2023 season, meaning that I was at Sebring the first NLS 1 race weekend, meaning that I couldn't drive the Ferrari on that first weekend. And initially that didn't work out for Klaus. He wanted someone that was there for every single race weekend in the NLS races and building up to the 24 hours itself. So unfortunately that didn't work out in the end. So I went to Daytona with Heart of Racing. We had a strong competitive showing for the first 20 hours, I think it was. And then, yeah, we had an issue, which was a shame. But I remember sort of waking up a couple of days after the 24-hour of Daytona and getting a phone call from Klaus saying, yeah, we should have a talk because I think we want you on the team, which was, yeah, great news to have. And when he told me that he was fielding the car with, yeah, El Bamba and Nicky Katzberg and Felipe Fernandez-Laza as well, that was a pretty epic lineup. The Ferrari is very much an unknown at the Nürburgring. The 296 was a completely brand new car. Ferraris had run around here in the past, but the car was so different. Never had any factory support or anything like that. So it was always, yeah, it was quite the challenge actually, but I was up for it. The way Klaus described how the program was going to be running, etc., that I knew this was going to be my best opportunity for a competitive result. I was talking to other teams for Nürburgring drivers at the time, but this stood out to me as the best, and that's why I chose this in the end, and yeah, joined the team from NLS 2 onwards. As mentioned, it was a tricky start in terms of, as it always is at the Nürburgring, with the weather, trying to get dry, consistent track conditions and track times in. Our testing was cancelled due to snow. The NLS 2 weekend was a little wet and dry. We actually agreed to forego the result of NLS 2 so that we could get a better test in, because everything is just revolved around the 24 hours. So we just wanted to prepare ourselves the best we could for the 24 hours. So yeah, we sacrificed result in NLS 2. NLS 3, we then needed to execute everything. We were happy with our setup. We then needed the team to execute. We needed the drivers to execute, to put everything together for a result, of which we ran extremely strongly in NLS 3, coming from, I think it was mid-pack to the top, to leading the race for within the first 2 hours. We then had a brake disc issue towards the end of the race, which sort of stopped us from getting on the podium, at least anyways, but it was a good, strong showing. We'd found another fault with the car that we could tick off and then obviously prevent when it came to the big race. We then came to the qualifying race, which again we showed strongly in the race 1 on the Saturday going into the night, in the damp as well, which meant we covered wet driving, dry driving and damp driving. So we were covered on all those aspects as well, which you need here at the Nürburgring. And then I didn't do the Sunday race, but the boys, Felipe, Earl and Nicky, then won the qualifying race, which was the first win for the 296 overall, which was fantastic, and obviously gave us a huge amount of momentum going into the 24-hour race. We felt super confident in the package that we had, the drivers felt confident in all conditions as well, And yeah, we were ready and good to go, which was hugely exciting. And yeah, throughout the weekend, we just ticked off the preparation, the final bits of preparation that we needed for the race itself. And then yeah, I'm a bit of a start specialist here at the Nürburgring as well.
As the lights turn green and we are underway in 2023 for the 51st edition of the 24 hours of the Nürburgring. It is a good getaway for the pole sitter, but here comes the Ferrari around the outside of the all-green Mercedes. It's going to be Frikadelli Ferrari as late as it possibly can be.
I was nominated to start the race, which was fantastic as well. I love to start, I love to set the race up, I love to kind of build momentum within the team and have quite an aggressive style, which is good and bad for endurance racing, but it's mainly been good in terms of, yeah, bringing the car forward, starting with positive momentum, keeping the car clean, and yeah, setting the tone of the race, which is what I love to do.
It's the best opportunity, I would say, for the Ferrari. That gap is definitely closing, but he needs it to be at a higher rate of knots. Perhaps it's in the higher rev range and the higher speed. Here comes the 296. Antonius Bucher is a bit further away, so Pittard will have the real estate. He's going to go to the right-hand side of the Swiss driver and sweep around the outside of Antonius Bucher into second place.
And yeah, we boxed from the lead after lap 5 and basically controlled the race from there effectively. We had a blip about 7 hours in where Nicky got a puncture. It actually started to go down on our onboard telemetry system. We can see the tyre pressures of the car, and we could see it starting to go down at Brunchen area, which is still sort of, yeah, 5-6 kilometres from home.
Now, hang on a minute, because this Ferrari, is it going slowly? I think it's got a puncture. The number 30 Ferrari is going slowly on the Dottinger Hohe, but the tyre at least is vaguely intact. The carcass has not detached from the car, but it has done quite a lot of damage, and immediately Frikadelli surround this machine.
But luckily for us, the tyre stayed up until the Dottinger Hohe, of which then Nicky then had to slow down and bring the car in. That meant there was minimal damage to the bodywork, the suspension, etc. And we could just do a quick rear deck change with the Ferrari, which is, yeah, hugely impressive, where a few clips and they unbolt the whole rear end of the car and just bolt a new one on, which meant the car was 100% good to go again once we'd put the new tyres on and gone out. And at that point in the race, when we were, I think we lost probably a minute or so, something like that. And we also kind of said that there's always one thing that goes wrong in a 24-hour race, and if this is it, we're in a very good position. And at that point there, throughout the night, we really managed to extend our lead where the car was extremely strong, and we had a good gap coming into sort of midday on the Sunday. We actually had a damper issue on the rear of the car, which failed, which meant there was zero damping from pretty much the final 8 to 6 hours of the race, which meant the rear was just bouncing and pogoing around the circuit. And obviously on the Nordschleife, there's plenty of bumps and jumps, which made the rear of the car very unstable. So we did lose a bit of pace, but I think because we'd built such a gap at the beginning of the race, we could kind of nurse the car home and stroke it home. And I was given the privilege of bringing the car home for the final 2 stints. I was extremely nervous going into the final 2 stints when the engineer told me, we need you back in, because I kind of thought I was done. I wanted to, again, I suppose for endurance racing, where you're having to share with your teammates as much as you trust their experience, their skill, etc. You want to take it in control of yourself, and that gave me that opportunity to, yeah, bring the result home and everything being my own destiny effectively. And yeah, just on that, I remember those final laps of the final stints where I was just trying to focus on every corner coming up, trying not to think about the result. But the cool thing was that the crowd was kind of getting, yeah, more and more hyped as we were driving around, and yeah, get emotional thinking about it now, because it was yeah, epic. It was an epic moment in my life as well as my career. It's everything I've worked for and worked towards for over 20 years. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
21 years after the last non-German mark, it's Oreca and Ferrari as the 296 comes of age for the first time of asking and wins the 51st running of the Total Energy 24 hours of the Nürburgring.
Yeah, port home result, explosion of emotion, And yeah, the big goal was also to jump out the car and stand on the roof of a race-winning 24-hour car, which is what I did as well. So.
Den Helm hervorragend zu hören. Die Yes-Route. Und jetzt steigt er natürlich hoch aufs Auto. Das gehört dazu. Die Siegerpose. Das schönste Foto vom Wochenende. Da ist sie, die Sieger.
Yeah, from a bit of adversity over the winter to an epic result in the middle of the year. Yeah, it was all about the hard work and the grind, and it's the sport that I love, and it's awesome. So that's my epic racing story.